What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well and is ready for this big week we have ahead of us. This week we have a lot of high impact news on dollar and pound. With dollar, we've got high impact news on Friday with non-farm payroll and unemployment rates. Thursday we have jobless claims, and then on Wednesday we have the Fed interest rate decision and Fed press conference. With pound, we do have interest rates on the Thursday with the Bank of England. So yeah, this week's going to be a big one. Definitely one to be using very low risk on, and hopefully it'll create some nice movement in the markets. Now I do plan to make a separate video to go on a more, to look at a more higher time frame analysis, just to get an idea of where we may be moving to, etc. However, moving into this new week, I do want to see if we can move on and trade on lower. And the reason for that is because of how last week traded with the heavy consolidation we witnessed, and the fact that we didn't manage to fill the fair value gap, which I wanted to see us trade into. So if you watched last week's videos, you'll know that I was expecting us to trade deeper into this fair value gap right here on the weekly. I'll just get that marked out for us now. And you'll see that price failed to do that pretty much at all, which is, again, showing that price isn't willing to go up there for now. Obviously, with the news we have this week, that could change quite drastically. But my point is that was going against our bias, meaning that it's likely we may be on the wrong side and may need to start hunting for potential lower prices. Nonetheless, last week was absolutely disgusting. A lot of consolidation, as I'm sure you experienced yourselves. So what I'm going to look at now is I'm going to look at what PDRAs do we see in the premium to trade to, and then the discount. If we're expecting a down close week, it is ideal for us to see the high get made on Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday. But considering we have such high impact news, we do need to be aware that this, that we may see quite a lot of back and forth price action before we get the main movement, which I'm assuming will probably be off the back of interest rates and non-farm payroll. Nonetheless, we have this premium PD array, a fair value gap up here in the premium to trade into, and then I'd like to think that price can key off this to then send it lower and start hunting for that low from Monday, week commencing Monday 15th of July. So let's make these just two different colors. We'll make this discount PD array blue, as that is my downside target for price, and then I'd like to think that this fair value gap up here can provide resistance, so we will get the midpoint of that delineated. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to mark out this low right here as a sell side liquidity target. So I am looking for that I am looking for last week's high to get traded to. That's what I'm looking for on Monday, Tuesday, and running into Wednesday. And then I'd like to think that we can see some kind of potential reversal of that to trade on lower, and then take out this low and start trading down into this range. Because what you'll find is that if we look at wicks as gaps too, ICT said this himself, wicks are gaps too, we didn't even trade down into it. So there's a whole fair value gap, in quotation marks, fair value gap, that price may want to try and seek to trade down into. Don't get me wrong, if we trade down into that first, that's completely fine, and then we may want to trade on higher after. I'll allow for that. However, I'm looking moving into Monday and Tuesday to see if we can trade higher first, and that will line me up nicely with the expectation to then and only then run for that for last week's low. So let's go down to the daily now, and you can see how horrible last week was. A lot of consolidation, but what you will find is that we are still above this massive bullish order block. So as soon as this candle right here closed above this bullish order block, closed above this candle, this becomes a bullish order block, meaning that as price trades into it, we should expect it to find support. As you can see, volume every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Yes, we traded down into it multiple times. However, volume is staying above it, meaning that the bullish order block is doing as it expected. So moving into the new week, I'll be expecting this bullish order block to continue providing support for price to go where? To trade up into our premium PD array, because as you recall, I do want to see us create the high there. We also have relative equal highs above here and here, so that's another reason why there's buy side liquidity residing up here. And then there's this bearish order block right here, these two up close candles. So let's get the low of this bearish order block marked out, because that may be a drawn liquidity for price. And let's just get everything marked out. So we have a daily bullish order block right here, and I'm not in my usual office, guys, right now, so some things may sound a little bit different, apologies. And then we also have a bearish order block, a daily bearish order block right here. Make that black and move that to the right as well. So until we've traded up into this premium, I don't want to be seeing any kind of downwards price action. So I'm looking for this high to get taken out first, And once we're in here, then and only then would I anticipate a potential reversal to then trade on lower and reach for our sell side targets, because I'm looking for the premium to get made before trading on lower. It's as simple as that. Now let's now drop down to the 4 hour, and this is going to be the lowest time frame I go to, purely because it's Sunday, it's non-farm payroll week. Monday doesn't have any high impact news, so I'm guessing it will likely be quiet, or they'll consolidate it quite heavily until Tuesday and Wednesday, when I'm expecting more movement. Nonetheless, it's a lot easier to see those relative equal highs above here and here I was talking about, so I'd like to see price ideally draw up to that. Again, here's that bullish order block from the daily, and look at how price is treating it. Yes, we're stabbing into it, but nonetheless volume is mainly staying above it, excusing, you know, the occasional dip below it. But my point is, it's doing its job as a bullish order block, so there's no reason for us to be bearish. We should remain bullish until proven otherwise, and in bearish conditions remain bearish until proven otherwise. Have we been proven otherwise? No. So until that happens, I'm happy to expect high prices, and we have this massive liquidity void and bearish order block in the premium to potentially reach up into. Let's take a quick look at the 1 hour. Again, last week absolutely disgusting, but nonetheless I'm waiting for expansion up into here. In terms of trading this week, again with non-farm payroll, I want to get all my trading done by Wednesday. Thursday's interest rates as well, so again all my trading I want to be done by Wednesday, and that means that if I'm expecting the high to be made, most of my trading will probably be spent going short on the pair until I've seen the displacement I'm waiting for on dollar before we start heading to the downside. But again, overall I want to try and get that all done by Wednesday, because I don't want to be involved with NFP. So that's everything on dollar. I hope that all makes sense. Although I'm laying it out as a simple week of simply wanting to see the high get made and then trade on lower, we need to be aware that circumstances can change, and then obviously if any of our PD arrays do get disrespected, for example we trade deeper into the daily bearish order block than expected, if that was to happen, then we'd obviously have to readjust and then, you know, potentially look at higher prices. So yeah, let's now head on to GBP USD. Let me clear my charts. I don't think there's anything on there. We'll start on the weekly. So if we're expecting a down close, or if we want to see a down close on dollar, that means ideally we want to see an up close on pound. Now pound is looking awfully bearish, but nonetheless it's simply filling in a range by the looks of things. And we have to remember we've had this large expansion above highs here and here, so there's no reason for us to be thrown off. We haven't necessarily been proven otherwise. Although we've had 2 down close weeks, we haven't seen a displacement, so we haven't had a break in market structure on a weekly basis for us to necessarily be bearish. So let's just remain with our bias of wanting to see a down close week on dollar, meaning an up close week on pound, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So we need to find PD arrays below the market that we want to see get traded to, and then we want to see make note of PD arrays above the market that we want to see get traded to. So we have this buy side liquidity above last week right here, a rejection block above there, but I'm not going to worry about that until this is taken out first, if we do get up there. And then this fair value gap, I'm happy for that to get filled. Any lower than that, ideally I want to see this gap get left open. Price can get down there, and it may wick down in there, especially with interest rate announcements, but right now I'm looking at this fair value gap. Let's just take note of this one though as well, just because it is there, we shouldn't ignore it. And I'm just going to make that a lighter red, just to take note of. So let's go to the daily, and similar to dollar, as I was saying, we're expecting the low to be made hopefully earlier in the week and then witness a potential reversal. What you'll find is that this fair value gap that we found from the weekly lines up coincidentally, quote unquote, next to this bullish order block right here. So let's get the opening of that bullish order block marked out, and we'll write bullish or daily bullish order block. And what's ideal about that is that it's at the low of the fair value gap which I delineated, and as price is trading down into that, I'll be looking at dollar, which will hopefully be trading up into its premium before trading on lower. So that's going to be what I'm going to be paying close attention to, but I'd like to think that this bullish order block can provide support. This will then act as what we call a propulsion block, but as I won't speak about that until later in the week to see how we treat it. So make sure to smash subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, let's keep taking a look. So there is a fair value gap here as well. Definitely want to draw that out. When we have fair value gaps inside of fair value gaps, it makes it quite a high probability. Again, yes, there's these this range down here, but we're looking between this low and this high, and we're obviously in a discount, so I'm looking for the discount to provide the setups for potential longs, assuming dollar does as we expect. So let's go to the 4 hour, and you'll see last week we did move lower. Not the cleanest price action, as you're aware. Again, another fair value gap right here, and that again lines up with our bullish order block from the daily. So we're looking at that overlap right there as a potential low of the week. If we witness a reversal at the right time, maybe off the back of news on the right day, so Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, that would be a nice setup for potential longs for the rest of the week. And then again, we've got relative equal highs above here, here, and here to trade to. And then in terms of PDRAs, we have a nice 4 hour fair value gap up there to reach for. Again, depending on how bullish price is, we may completely overshoot that, and then we can start thinking about this high. But I'm not really concerned about that until we're on the right side of the market. We're still clearly moving lower, so until we have displacement and a complete reversal, then I'm not really thinking about the premium PDRAs. So yeah, lower prices until proven otherwise, basically. Let's get rid of this just to clear things up a little bit. I am going to get rid of this larger gap, and I am just going to keep my eyes on this range right here. So hope that all makes sense. We will take a quick look on the hourly, not too much, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how price treats this daily bullish order block once it gets down there. So that's going to be everything on pound. I hope that all makes sense. Let's finish up on Euro USD. We'll start here on the weekly as well. And again, similar to pound, we want to see an up close week, and that means we need to look at any PDRAs in the discount and any PDRAs in the premium to trade to. Now, there isn't a clear fair value gap in the discount of euro. What's interesting to take note of is how we traded down into the 50% level of that wick right there. Very interesting. As there's not a clear gap, yes, we have this massive gap down here, but I do believe this is a bit too deep for my liking, if that makes sense. What I am going to do, I've never done this before, by the way, I'm literally doing this on the spot. This low and this low, let's see what's in this range. I'm curious. Interesting. So we have a bullish order block there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out the open of this bullish order block, similar to what we did with pound, and ideally this bullish order block can provide support for price to get our reversal that we're waiting for to potentially send price higher. Now, this is the first time I've used this low, like I've used this range to identify a PDRA, and the reason I've done that is because, as I said earlier in this video, ICT has stated before that wicks are gaps too, right? So if this wasn't a wick and this was a gap, I would mark out the low of it to the low of this. So I've treated it the exact same way in this scenario. So let's see if this can be applied. It's little experiments like this that help me learn. So it'll be interesting to see if this does play a role. But it'll be nice to see if we can create the low down here and then potentially get a nice reversal to the upside. In terms of the upside targets, where would you look for? Well, we do have this high, but this high is pretty much at this rejection block level. So let's get the rejection block level for buy side, drawn buy side liquidity. We'll thicken that up as well. And let's go back down to that daily, and we can now look at this bullish order block and get that delineated. So now we have a daily bullish order block as a discount PDRA. We'll be watching this very closely to see if it provides support. And if we do get a reversal off that, we can start thinking about trading up into these highs and this high right here, with this high being our first target. Let's go to the 4 hour, take a better look at price. And you'll see again, last week, very disgusting. But nonetheless, we did manage to fill in this fair value gap, which is interesting. So I am now expecting us to go and create some kind of low before potentially trading on higher and reaching into our buy side liquidity target if dollar wants to play nicely. If dollar doesn't want to play nicely, we will know about it and we can simply adjust. But at least now we have discount PDRAs and premium PDRAs that we can use to help frame the rest of the week. So that's going to be everything for this video, guys. Pretty quick, to be honest. Not the longest video, just because after last week we have to be really careful coming out of consolidation. Again, high impact news Tuesday right through to Friday, very high impact news. So it's not like I'm not expecting crazy. There's going to be crazy movement. Plus we have all the politics that are going on around the world, which I'm sure we can't get enough of. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how we deliver. Make sure to hit subscribe, join the mailing list, join us on Discord as well, and hopefully this will be quite an interesting week. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in next one. Peace.